Yeah. All right, next question, Regina.
You talked about how your dad felt and what your dad wanted at the beginning of your career. How does your dad feel about your career now?
My dad is in heaven and has been for about a decade, but I'm pretty sure he's proud as fuck. Yeah, applaud that. My father on his deathbed, my sister and I were visiting him, and it was the last conversation I had with him. I had just gotten on a flight, and my dad was in bad shape. This is the last time I saw him as him before his cancer took away his agency, his mind, his focus, all those things. And I got there, and he was just worried about me. Me and the youngest sister, I have 3 older sisters, so my youngest sister, Rowena, she's the one just older than me, and we were the artists. She's a fashion designer. She went to FIDM, and we were the ones that he was more concerned about. And all he could say he was just worried about us. He was worried about me. He was like, "Why can't you just be a nurse?" And it really hurt. I was on the first national tour of Xanadu. I was the dance captain and the swing for 6 people. I understudied the featured skater. I understudied the lead role of the show. I had one of the most difficult jobs, and I did it. And I worked merch at intermission. And before the show, I would I'd go in Heelys with a tie around my head and my thigh and a pink fanny pack, and I was glow stick boy.
Yes.
I was living my life. I was taking up space, and with humility, and my dad was still spitting this fire at me that just felt so painful. And my sister and I eventually left. We said our goodbyes, and as soon as we turned the corner to see the door that exited the hospital, I kind of collapsed against the wall and I fell to my knees, sobbing and crying. And my sister immediately came to me and she held me, and I was sobbing. And I was like, "Dad, he doesn't accept me. I'm not good enough. And oh my God, why?" And I just felt all this pressure. And she went, Vince, wait, listen, Vince. Do you know what Dad was saying before you got here? And I'm sobbing, so she's trying to calm me down. I'm like, what? And he said, Dad was bragging to every single nurse that his son was coming. And his son has toured the world and is a professional performer and singer, and he's so handsome. You're gonna see him, he's coming right now. He never said that to my face. And my sister and I had a moment, and it just really messed me up. And it kind of reframed things for me. And it just told me a lot about how human he was. And it also made me feel like I had a responsibility to not prove him wrong, because I did that for many years. If you look at my career, and I don't know, it's probably up until, I think it was pandemic, to be honest, I was using a certain kind of fire to motivate me. And the fire sounded something like, "I'll show you, Dad. I'll show you, New York. I'll show you, Broadway." It was real. It was a real, visceral, painful place I was coming from. And one of the founders of my acting school, Eric, he said to me one day, he was teaching us, and he said, "Vin, you're not the only actor who's gone through that." And I went, "Well, of course." He was like, "Yeah, but just know that this is what happens with artists. There's this visceral, this anger that we can have towards the entities around us that push you down or make you feel like you can't do it. And then you spend a portion of your career with that kind of fuel in your tank. I'll show you. But what happens when they're gone? Then what do you do?" So he was gone, we hit a pandemic. Why am I doing this? Who am I proving this to? Why does this matter? I don't get it. I don't get it. And I had to kind of step into adulthood. I even said to my husband one night, I said, I think it's time for me to grow up. And he didn't get it. He didn't get it. And I said, I know you might not get it, but you're my husband and I love you and I'm gonna share this with you. It's time for me to grow up. I'm actually gonna grow up. I was Peter Pan. I never wanted to grow up. I was Rebecca Bunch. Everything was a musical. Everything was No Day But Today, dancing through life. Everything in life is only for now, purpose. It was just song titles and lyrics and that. I didn't realize it, but I was really trying to live the fullest life, but I was hiding behind musical comedy and these stories, and I really wasn't feeling what these characters felt. Now I do. And it's painful. It's really hard. That's why you see actors do horrible things when they play certain roles, or you hear stories about they lost sleep, or they went method, and all these things. And it's just I don't want that to be my life. But I understand why certain actors can't do that. I understand why people hide from their feelings and why they keep them shut. I get it. I did it. But what I've learned is when you create that barrier, not only are you keeping things away from you, but now you are keeping yourself in and you can't get out. So it works both ways. And I decided I think it's time for me to grow up and face the world, face the pains, to feel everything, feel all the things, every joy, every pain, sorrow, elation, the full human experience. Because I was raised around people who didn't do that, and they didn't understand that that's the path I wanted, because I just had this instinct that there was something there for me. And now I'm sitting in front of a group of people telling stories that I never thought I'd be telling anyone outside of my tribe, my friends, or a Marco Polo or a text message, because I think it's important. I think we're all here for each other. And thank you.
Yeah, I was like, man, Filipino dads, like, they do it all.
Boy, do they.
If they're around, if they're around.
Yeah, he is around. He's right here. He's right here.
Man, yeah, no, but like a lot of that resonated with me, I'm sure, with people that are Filipino dads, but also if you're just an artist in general with a parent that has those feelings. But it's, very common, like not just Filipinos, but like I just say that because I am, but like that idea of your most loved ones, your parents, your godparents, if they're so close to you, that they, because I experienced this recently, like that they will say all the things that you want to hear to other people. But when it comes to your face, they say, my family calls me Michael, Michael, why don't you get a real job? That's what comes to your face. But to other people, they say what your dad said, like, my son is coming, he's so handsome, he's so talented and amazing. And so it's a weird thing, but it's like, to remember that is good, because it is there. It's just that the way the culture treated them and the way the culture raised them, that's what it was, because it's that idea of Filipino saving face, that like they would rather tell a stranger how great their child is than say it to you. So know you're not alone in that. Like that, even with people whose parents are around still, like it's there, it's real. So it's very real.
I know it's real, and I have space for it now that I didn't have before. So I'm doing much better. Therapy has paid off. Psychiatrist has paid off. The Wellbutrin is kicked in. It's very good. Antidepressants are so not a big deal.
So thank you for sharing that story.
Oh, thanks, man.
Very deep thing. So